Hello everyone, welcome back to 3 News Now on this Friday, June 10th. I'm Stephanie Haney. Thank you for being here for the top stories from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. These are the stories that matter most to you here in Northeast Ohio. We know that because these are the stories that you are clicking on, reading, and sharing from our website and from our app. And we start with an update today about a large award that's now being offered for any information related to the death of Ethan Liming. We talked about this yesterday. Ethan Liming is the 17-year-old who was found near the I Promise school after what police are saying was an altercation with another group near the basketball courts. And what we do know now is there is a $30,000 reward being offered for information leading to the arrest and successful prosecution of the person or the people who are responsible for Ethan Liming's death. Now, Ethan, a rising senior at Firestone Community Center, was found, as I said, near the basketball courts at the I Promise School. This is on West Market Street. It was about 10:45 p.m. on June 2nd. What we do know is that he was there with a group of friends who pulled into the school parking lot. And when we got there, they got in a fight with at least 3 other males who were already playing basketball at the property. And several of them were using what are called splatterball guns. And if you look this gun up, it's a toy. It's very clearly a toy. And it's something sort of in the style of a paintball gun, but it shoots water beads, these gel water beads. And during whatever interaction took place, Liming was brutally beaten and knocked unconscious. And when officials did arrive just within minutes of being called by the people who were there with him at the incident, he was pronounced dead on the scene. So if anyone has information, they are asked to call the Akron Police Department Detective Bureau. Here is that number, 330-375-2490. The U.S. Marshals Service at 1-866-4-WANTED, or the Summit County Crime Stoppers at 330-434-COPS. Callers can remain anonymous, and what we do know, according to the Akron Police Department, is that $25,000 of the reward money is being put up by a private donor, and an additional $5,000 is coming from the Summit County Crime Stoppers. If you need to check those phone numbers again, we do have them on WKYC.com. Now we have an update about the great-grandson of former Cleveland Mayor Frank Jackson. He appeared in court today on aggravated murder charges, and he was arraigned on those charges relating to the shooting death of a man last month. This is 3 days after the police issued an arrest warrant for the aggravated murder for his allegedly shooting Krishan Coleman on East 40th Street at around 3:15 a.m., and that was on May 14th. So he'll be held without bond until at least Monday, and this is over the objection of his defense attorneys. The reason bond wasn't set during today's hearing is that prosecutors asked for a delay because a lead detective on the case is out because of an injury. His lawyers protested that, but the judge sided with the prosecution, and he will be held without bail in Cuyahoga County until at least Monday. Now, if you're paying attention to what's happening in the race for Senate here in Ohio, watchdogs are suing JD Vance and his campaign and a Super PAC over alleged covert scheme to, what they say, work together. The Campaign Legal Center and the End Citizens United group are suing JD Vance's campaign and the Super PAC Protecting Ohio Values. They are saying that there were in-kind contributions between that Super PAC and JD Vance's campaign leading up to the Senate primary election. Now, Vance's campaign did not respond to comment. We'll get that out of the way at the top. But here's what the lawsuit says, filed earlier this week, and this was first reported, by the way, by the Daily Beast. There was a covert website, meaning a website that you couldn't easily find using a search engine, even if you knew what you were looking for. And it was uncovered by Politico last month. And the Super PAC posted campaign research, polling, and strategy documents on this site. Now, Protecting Ohio Values, that's the Super PAC, it put together a bunch of information that would be very useful if you were happening to be running a campaign to get JD Vance elected to the U.S. Senate in Ohio. That's legal. Super PACs are allowed to collect unlimited contributions from individuals and corporations, and then they can spend that money to directly support or attack whichever candidates they choose. But they cannot contribute to or coordinate with the candidate's committee. And that is what the Super PAC and the Vance campaign are accused of doing, according to this complaint. The complaint says that Protect Ohio Values paid for a variety of campaign materials, including polling data, Democratic voter targeting models, strategic insights based on data, ideas, and scripts for campaign communications, and also raw footage of JD Vance. And all of it published on an obscure website that couldn't be found easily, was not widely publicized, and the intention, this complaint says, was for the Vance committee to obtain and use those materials. They argue that that amounts to an illegal in-kind contribution to the Vance campaign. It also raises the issue that could be a potential defense from the Super PAC and the Vance campaign. They say, well, how can this be a contribution if it was simply made publicly available? Well, the plaintiffs point out that, yes, the website was technically publicly available, but it couldn't be found through search engines, even if they knew what they were looking for. Very difficult to find. And they also pointed to the Politico story that said that the Super PAC leaders found a different campaign using data that they'd posted, and when they found that, they called it a data leak. So they were not very amenable to someone else finding that data and using it. This complaint emphasizes that campaign law prohibits candidate committees from accepting anything of value without reporting it, and making use of strategy and research from a friendly Super PAC, they say, ought to qualify. Very fascinating legal arguments to be made here. We'll be following this, and we'll let you know what happens there. Now, the U.S. has lifted the COVID-19 test requirement for international travel. What that means is that international air travelers won't have to take a COVID-19 test anymore before coming to the U.S. So that was one of the last remaining government mandates meant to contain the spread of COVID-19. A senior administration official said that the mandate will expire on Sunday at 12:01 a.m., so through the weekend, and saying that the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention have determined it's no longer necessary. Now, this official, who spoke anonymously about the announcement, said that the agency would reevaluate the need for the testing requirement every 90 days, and it could be reinstated if a new variant emerges that is particularly troubling. But for now, that sounds like it's coming to a close. Good news for the Cleveland Guardians last night. They rallied to a win without Terry Francona as the Oakland Athletics lost its 9th game in a row. It was an 8-4 win on Thursday night. Cleveland came from behind, and this is after Francona was ejected in the 6th inning for arguing, and the Guardians were down 4-2 at that point. So here's what happened. Quan beat out an infield single and stole second with a head-first slide. And then the throw sailed into the center field, and he tried to get up. Quan tried to get up to maybe run some more, maybe try to steal third. But Oakland shortstop Elvis Andrus was on top of him. So Francona came out and argued with the second base umpire and said that Quan should get third base because he couldn't move because the player was on top of him. The umpires got together and they said, no, Quan does not deserve the extra base. And then Francona was tossed by the crew chief because he did not agree, and he was very animated about his not agreeing. So this is Francona's first ejection this season, 45 of his career. So he is not necessarily new to being ejected from the game. They will play again tonight against the Oakland Athletics at 7:10 p.m., and that will also be at Progressive Field. Now we have an exciting announcement for the Browns preseason broadcasting team. Aditi Kinkhabwala, who you might be familiar with, she's been with NFL Network for a long time. She recently ended that tenure. She's a contributor on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, which is on our WKYC YouTube page and our streaming services. Well, she has been announced as part of the Browns preseason broadcasting team. She'll be reporting from the sidelines, and the booth members will be famed left tackle Joe Thomas, he will be one of them, and also Chris Rose. So they will be together, and then Aditi will be on the sidelines. So congratulations to them. They'll be the preseason team. The Browns take on the Jaguars on August 12th, the Eagles on August 21st, and the Chicago Bears on August 27th. Those are the 3 preseason events. Speaking of events, tomorrow, Stark County will be holding its first ever Pride festivities. The event is called Queer in Canton. It's on Saturday, free entry for everyone. It's from 3 to 10 p.m. There'll be lots of things going on there. The idea is to promote visibility, unity, education, and entertainment, welcoming people of all ages and backgrounds. There'll be a DJ, there'll be bands, musicians, there'll be drag performers. It's free for everybody to go get in, and this is the first time that Stark County and Canton is having a Pride Festival. So if you're able to get out there and support, get out there. It's going to be a great time. It will be downtown in Centennial Plaza. Also tomorrow, wanted to let you know something I have going on. Legal Aid Society of Cleveland is bringing back its brief advice clinic, and I'll be volunteering there tomorrow morning. This will be at the Cleveland Public Library. This is part of a week-long fundraiser that I've been doing on social media. You may have seen the posts. It's the Extend Justice campaign. And the idea is to hopefully raise $3,000 this week to support legal aid. So if you're able, you can see the posts all over social media. It's written up on WKYC.com. If you'd like to contribute, your support would be very much appreciated. Legal aid is a cause that's very near and dear to my heart. You know, when I decided to become a lawyer, it was because I've always viewed the law as a great equalizer. But it's only a great equalizer if people have access to representation. And legal aid picks up on the civil side of things, so they don't do any criminal legal work, but they pick up for the much needed civil side of things, you know, where people aren't necessarily guaranteed representation like they are in the criminal court. So again, if you want to check that out, check out my social media pages, _Stephanie Haney on Facebook, on Twitter and Instagram, and Stephanie Haney on Facebook. You can just find me that way. And your support would be greatly appreciated. And if you do need legal assistance on civil issues, the Brief Advice Clinic is tomorrow. You can get there from 10 to 11 p.m., first come, first serve, and that is at the Cleveland Public Library. One more thing to let you know before we go here on this beautiful Friday. Chick-fil-A is bringing back a summer staple. It's coming back on Monday, June 13th. It's peach milkshake. Now, I'm personally not a fan of things flavored peach, but apparently this is very popular. It first came on the menu in 2009, and the team says it's a classic summertime taste. So if you are craving a peach milkshake from Chick-fil-A, you'll be able to get that again starting Monday. I don't understand it, but I am happy for you if that's something that you enjoy. Okay, that's it for your 3 News Now update today for Friday, June 10th. Everyone have a wonderful weekend. I think we'll have a mix from what I'm hearing from our weather team. Maybe a little bit of rain on Sunday. Maybe stay dry on Saturday. Either way, have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you back here on Monday with more 3 News Now.